Zuckerberg started Facebook in a dorm. Snowden exposed the NSA in a hotel. I'm a comedian who's been fired from many social media jobs. So what can I accomplish if I'm locked in a room for 1 week with just an internet connection and $1,000? This is Control Room.
Welcome to Control Room. The challenge for this episode is start an alternative medicine company from inside this room. Now, if you guys don't know, alternative medicine companies, there's a ton of them, but I'm gonna talk about two, Goop and Live Water. And I wanna tell you guys about these, but I have to do it in a special segment called My Viacom-Approved Opinions. And just a little bit of background on this. Viacom, the parent company of Comedy Central, hates this project. They hate everything about it. Just in prep for the PowerPoint that I'm showing you now, they sent me 257 emails about things I am not allowed to say. One of the last ones was this, that just said, "It is our opinion that the creative team should either change course or stop development of this project." And most of the other emails were about Gwyneth Paltrow or Goop and how I should not mention them under any circumstance. So in this segment, I am obligated to keep it positive. So first, I want to talk to you guys about Live Water. If you don't know, Live Water is unfiltered, untreated, unsterilized spring water. Here's one of their jugs from Instagram, which I like. I think that that's good. That's great. They sell a 2.5 gallon jug for $36.99. Here's their real website. And people have had a lot to say about this. This guy said, without water treatment, there's acute and then chronic risks, stuff like E. coli bacteria, viruses, parasites, and we don't have that because of our very efficient water treatment process. But what does this guy know? He's just the director of the Healthy Living program at the Mayo Clinic, so probably an idiot. I instead choose to believe, again, the brilliant CEO of the company who says, tap water, you're drinking toilet water with birth control drugs in them. They're putting in fluoride. It's a mind control drug that has no benefit to our dental health. And who would be more in touch with nature and the human body than this man who, even in this press photo, is staring directly into the sun? And so now I want to talk about Goop. And I got to be careful, but I'm just going to point a couple things out, keep it real straightforward. This is Goop's very slick, very cool logo that's important to remember for later when I'm building my company. And then I want to talk to you about some of these are real products that are for sale on the Goop website. This is their aromatic stress treatment. You can pick this up for $80 and you get 0.16 ounces. This is their psychic vampire repellent. I thought it was weird that they included instructions on how to use this as if it's not obvious that this is a product which you spray around the aura to protect from psychic attack. That's clearly what it's for. They have Chill Child Kid Calming Mist. That's $27. And under almost all of the products on the website, not all, but almost all, there's this cool disclaimer that says, these statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with me putting these images next to each other. I don't think there's anything wrong with me saying that's a great deal. I don't think there's anything wrong with me pointing, to these two images and mentioning that Goop is worth $250 million. I don't think there's anything wrong with me showing Gwyneth Paltrow's beautiful $10 million home or putting this on top of it or putting that on top of it. And that's fine, and those are my Viacom-approved opinions. So again, back to the task here. My task was to start an alternative medicine company. And what that means is that I want to start and operate an actual company that has slick branding, that seems sophisticated, which really means European, and in order to prove how effective those marketing tactics are, I need to make sure that the product itself has to be a gross and dangerous piece of nonsense. So, my idea for this was a used tissue that works like a vaccine in that someone sneezes on it, and then you have the tissue, someone else breathes that tissue in so that they get sick now and don't get sick later. And the tissue itself costs $80. So, The metrics I'm gonna use to determine whether this experiment is a success is, do people believe it, will people use it, and do people like it? So the first thing I needed was a brand. And I used the Haagen-Dazs method. The Haagen-Dazs method, if you don't know, is where you take a product that's not Danish at all, but you give it a Danish name so it seems cooler. So I went on Google Translate, I typed in tissue, and it came out Vave, and I was like, yeah, obviously that's the name of the company now. Oh, are you serious? That's perfect. What? And then I hit up my buddy who's a graphic designer and told him about the whole thing, told him I was locked in a room, and he sent over these mock-ups. I picked this one, and so that's the logo for the company, and I wanted a slick package. And you guys have seen those like knockoff like iPhone boxes, right? Like they look pretty much like the real thing, but they're fake. Turns out you can get those on the internet, custom made for 50 cents a piece. So I did that, and it looks good. And then I was in the room, I ordered a bunch of Petri dishes off of Amazon, some Kleenexes that I just balled up, never sneezed on. And I started putting these things together with stickers and gold tape that I got from a craft store, all delivered to the room. So this is the logo on the little unit thing. On the back, you see the same warning from the Goop products. On the side, you can see into it. You see this quote, quote, used tissue and some of our nice gold tape. It also has instructions in English and Danish. It comes with two of these cool stickers that say "Blessed You" on them. It's our little tagline. It's like Apple. Oh, and it also has this trash can on the back. I don't know what that means or what it is, but I feel like it's on a lot of products, so it makes it look more legit. So I put a bunch of these together, and when it was all said and done and taken care of, this product cost me $2 to make. So I'm selling them for 80 is the idea, but I needed marketing materials. Any good company has them, so again, I'm locked in the room. So I spent a little bit of time writing a commercial, and then I went online and found out that I could get like a casting room, and you can get it for like $34. I put out an ad on LA Casting for people to audition for this. People came in to play these roles in the commercial I wrote, and then to save money, I pulled every favor I could, and I sent buddies of mine that make videos and stuff like that to my buddy's garage in Silver Lake, and they set up a shitty like studio thing in the garage where they did everything they could to shoot this commercial, and I directed the entire thing on FaceTime in the room. And this is the commercial we made.
You tear your muscles to become stronger. You learn to fall to become a dancer. You callous your fingers to become a musician. Why is your immune system any different? Introducing a tissue powered by the human body for the human body. This flu season, keep your immune system feeling like your immune system. Vave.
So that's the commercial. And so once all that was put together, I distilled everything down to a Squarespace website that took like 15 minutes to set up. It cost $18, super cheap. And I also marked the product sold out on the store so that it would seem like there was this incredible demand for the thing that doesn't exist. Then I created a Twitter account, bought some followers, and I used that to announce all day long that we just ran out of stock, we sold out again, and also to retweet any article that had something to do with Sean Parker so that people thought he had something to do with this. And he doesn't, but that's kind of cool. You can just do that if you want. It's easy. Then I set up this Instagram page that has one of these like splashy grid things. I mean, it's bullshit, but it looks cool, I think. Spent like $50 buying some followers and included our little other tagline, a tissue unlike any you've hashtag used before. So now I had a website, a Twitter account, and an Instagram. So once it was all in place, I was like, I need a focus group to tell me if people like this, right? So I went on Craigslist and I searched like, hey, I made a post and I was like, does anybody want to come by and do this focus group? I went online and found out that you can rent like a legit looking focus group center for like $150. And then I sent a camera crew to go behind the one-way glass, film everything. I also hit up my friend Tien Tran, who's an amazing comedian. So the first thing that we did was a product demo so I could make it clear exactly how disgusting and ridiculous this product and this idea is. And here's what they said.
Now we're gonna do a quick product demonstration. We'll have some folks come in and they'll show you exactly kind of a streamlined version of what's happening in the Copenhagen lab. And he takes 5 deep breaths.
So you did pass the tissue. Hashtag pass the tissue.
Would that be a campaign idea?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
What are some other hashtag campaign ideas?
Hashtag pass it on.
Hashtag pass it on.
pass the vape.
Pass the wave.
Keep your sick days.
Keep your sick days. Leanna?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Let's look into the print ads, and I would love to see or hear your immediate reactions for those. So if you were to see something about Vave like this.
Anything that has to do with a nose like that is just gross. Okay.
Make him a wrestler.
Okay, well then, how about that? You said
There
make
we
him a
go.
wrestler.
There we go.
How are you feeling about this image?
Look at his expression. It's totally positive on that side. Are you doing something positive with the tissue? So you're not thinking like the other was negative. This guy's he's happy. He's doing something good for him, looks like.
I also like the red a lot more than the blue, and I know there's a difference between red and blue, and one is truth and one is power, but I think the red is a lot more with what I'm thinking this product is about. I think the red is a lot better than the blue.
Okay.
So to go back to the question, do people like it? Yes. What? So now that I had a product that people seem to be connecting with, I wanted to find out if I could hire somebody. You know, this would be the ultimate test of like, do people believe it? Would somebody think, yeah, I could work for a company like that? So I went back to Craigslist and I made a post, but I was looking for something really specific. Keep in mind, this company has no real product, no plan, and is possibly committing a crime. So there's only one type that's perfect for this situation, and that is a bro. You need a bro for this. And I feel like I found a perfect bro. This guy, I'm talking about Scotty Babbitt, AKA Blizzard. As soon as I got the email with his resume, I knew he was our guy because he was in not one, but 2 fraternities in college. And also under every photo, somebody had commented the word scoot. Even when he showed up, his buttons on his shirt were buttoned incorrectly. So this was the guy. This was our guy. Now, I don't have an office space for this, so I hit up my buddy and asked if I could use his brother's office. And if you have a chain of white guys hooking you up with stuff, can you do anything you want? Yes. Is that problematic? Yes. So I have time to get to it? No. Let's move on. The head of customer service is the job that he was interviewing for. So I brought him in for this interview, and my friend Kyle, who's a comedian, was the one interviewing him, and we set up a webcam directly in front of his face, but just said that it was for a higher up at the company to review the interview later. So, for this interview, he's under the impression that he's taking real calls from real angry customers, but what he doesn't know is that those real angry customers are me in the room. And the only instruction that he's been given is to deny everything, and no one can sue us. And so we were like, let's see if he does it. So the first thing I did was called and said that my son is sick. And here is what Scott had to say to this customer.
Hi, my name's Marcus. I give this product to my son, and he's very sick. He's missed several days of school, and I'm worried he's falling behind in his curriculum.
How long has this been for?
He's been sick for a week and a half now. Should I take him to the hospital? No, you should not.
Can you give me some background about of your son, like what he does and stuff like that?
Give him money to go to practice every day, and he goes from 4 to 5 p.m., and he comes home sometime around 7.
Do you know what he does with that money?
He takes viola lessons. What are you talking about? Why are you saying this about my son? He's very sick.
I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just asking questions, sir. Is he a recreational marijuana user?
He's 13 years old.
He doesn't come home till 7. So what is he doing from those 2 hours from 5 to 7? You should probably be focusing on the dynamic between you and your son versus our company and tissues.
What? What? That happened so fast, he denied everything. And then, unprompted, he started to deny things that we, again, never told him to deny. Here's what happened a second later in that interview.
I mean, my son plays viola. He was going to play violin, but his arms are too long. He's athletic. play basketball, but my wife doesn't want him to.
What's a viola?
You're asking me what a viola is?
I don't believe I understand what a viola is.
What are you talking about? You don't understand what a viola... I mean, my son has the flu.
I've just never heard of a viola, sir.
You've heard of violin, and you've never heard of a viola.
Do you know about cellos?
I know what a cello is, yes.
It's right in between those two instruments.
Alright, so how does this relate to your son?
It's a real instrument. You just asked me what he does, and I'm telling you he plays viola. He's very talented.
So, that is definitely made up because a viola does not exist.
I'm not making up a viola. It's a real instrument. You can Google it.
So Scott's hired. He's got to be... Give it up for Scott. Wow. What? So again, back to, do people believe it? Yes. What? People believe it. So kind of the last thing for me to do is find out what happens when I take this product into the world. What happens if we've got Vave out there with people, right? Will people use it? And most of the time when companies have new products, they have a promo team go out and hand out free units. And the truth is, I can't afford like a promo unit like this, but what I can afford is my girlfriend and her two friends who conveniently used to work for Red Bull. So this really only cost me this $60 to get these matching polos made. Unfortunately, the one real edge that a company like that has is these cool cars. And obviously this is crazy expensive, and I'm hawking used tissues here. I mean, what was I gonna do? I go on Amazon and get a bunch of shipping boxes and then spray paint them black and beg my friend if I can borrow his girlfriend's Mini Cooper? I mean, yes, of course, that's what I'm gonna do. Yes. And that costs about $80 in total. And then the most expensive thing on the entire project is this photo booth that we rented. But we told people, if you come in here and get a cool gift for your Instagram, you gotta use one of our used tissues. But even with all that, it felt like there was still no way people will use this on the street, right?
It's free. There's nothing weird about it. It's a used tissue, but it's like a new immunity thing. Even though yes, someone did use it, it's like it's sterile in a sense. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Can you take one of these?
People that you're all my daughters.
Sure.
If you want to.
Why not? Quite a few different infections and diseases and bacteria and stuff like that. Yeah.
Crazy too.
It is crazy.
This is natural. It's
you like
antibody.
weed, right? You like weed? This is like completely holistic. It's vegan.
So, again, will people use it? Yes. Yes, they will use it. Do people believe it? Yes. Do people like it? Frankly, too much, really. I mean, so the last thing I did, this is my last day in the room, I was like, can I get some kind of press? So I went online, I didn't have a lot of time at all, and I just Googled like, hey, like, is there, addresses of newspapers or whatever that I could send this to? And then I put together these envelopes with a Vave in them. That cost me like $30 for postage. It came with this little, postcard that says we're huge fans of you and that there's a human sneeze in here. And it even outlined that this is being sent by Oliver Nissen, the fictional Danish CEO of this company that's not real. Unfortunately, I didn't have a lot of time in the room, so I didn't make him a Facebook. I couldn't make him like a LinkedIn or anything. There's no information about this guy anywhere. So I think that's maybe where I kind of messed up on this part, because this company has no sales, no CEO that you can find anywhere online. It's not incorporated anywhere. It's not a real company. And a simple Google search will reveal all that stuff. So it would have been nice to get like a little clipping somewhere or whatever, but that is unfortunately the end. Because there's no way anybody would write about this, right?
The world's boldest tissue company. It's called Vave Tissue. Vave.
¿Qué es Vave?
Baby.
Vave Tissue.
Vave indica que los pañuelos...
A pre-infected
Used tissue
For $80.
$80 a pop, and this one's apparently true.
Is this real? I guess it was in Time magazine.
It's used tissues for $80. It's incredible.
Fox News says the tissues have been sold out for months now.
Tissues are in high demand, used tissues. You ready?
No, I can't believe you just did that. No.
The company apparently has customers.
I want to see those people. This is nasty. Just plain old nasty.
I would never want to go near them.
There's over 200 different types of rhinovirus. Are you going to stuff 200 different types of tissues in your nose?
It's expensive, it's dangerous, it's disgusting, and it won't work. So naturally, it is sold out. Introducing Dead. You've contracted Giardia on your terms.
This flu season, keep your immune system feeling like your immune system.
I know. But these tissues are so popular that the company says that they have sold out. What do you guys think? First of all,
So the question is, how did this happen? So to break it down, what happened was I put those in those envelopes, and the only people that got back to me, I don't know why, was Time magazine. And we exchanged a couple of emails, and then after I left the room, over a period of a couple of months, I did a bunch of phone interviews as the fictional Danish CEO, Oliver Nissen. And then Time published a 7-page write-up about this company that was packed with lies that this CEO, whatever guy, said, like, a human sneeze is safer than needles or pills. I told them that we have a stable of 10 go-to sneezers. And when they asked me whether or not I pay the sneezers, I said I would rather not address my relationship with those people. So the headline came out, and it is a little careful. This is good journalism on the part of Mandy Oaklander at Time. She included all this information about, like, maybe it's real, maybe it's not. This is a question. Is it real, right? But the problem is, other journalists at every different publication who I did not speak to didn't bother to read the 7-page Time article and then started running their own stories about it. They use words like virus infested and disease infected. It's crazy. Even the Time magazine hyperlink that they posted is way scarier than the real headline. Vave, the $80 used tissue designed to make you sick. That's terrifying. And I didn't say anything to Time that was verifiable at all. If any of these other publications had looked into it or read it, they would have thought something beyond, we'll just run this. But they did anyway. And the question is kind of why, and I think the answer is, it's exciting. If you're trying to sell ads and get social engagement and run commercials, your story doesn't have to be true, it just has to be exciting. When Fox News posts this, their entire comment section explodes, like hundreds and then thousands of comments about this that say stuff like, sounds like a liberal idea. And Obamacare would probably cover it, but it's not just people that hated it. Every time another one of these articles came out, the product itself that has no evidence of existing anywhere online became more real. Every time something came out, I would get a ton of emails asking when we were gonna restock, or if I had a baby strength version that you could give to your toddler. But I think that's kind of the crazy thing. It's like you can manipulate the international media if you have like $900 and take one Photoshop class. That's really, you can do this. But also, please don't do this. Don't lie to people. It's bad. That's the one thing I learned in this entire process, is that I suck for doing this. Even the used tissue idea itself was divisive. People didn't know if they hated it and wanted to leave mean comments, or if they loved it and wanted to restock. But the one thing that was perfectly clear, that everyone unanimously agreed on, is that I am extremely unlikable.
This is a potential spokesperson. This is someone that we've tested in previous groups, and he did not test well. What is it about?
I don't know if it's the glasses, the nerdy look, the fact that he's white. A really nerdy kid.
A nerdy kid?
I don't really believe he eats that much fruit. No, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't believe people eat this much fruit at a sitting.
What is it about him that makes you believe that he doesn't eat that much food?
It's not so much that he's skinny, but it's his face. This is not a believable face to me.
Okay.
I don't want to buy from that guy.
Okay. Leanna?
Is it possible for them to consider using like animation instead, instead of people?
Animation?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any pros, any positive?
The fruit.
Thank you so much, everyone.